Hello folks, this is Brett Keene, and this video is about an accusation video made against me and my wife. There's a guy, I'm not going to get into his name because I don't want him getting any limelight. I don't like trolls getting limelight. But he's got a video up about a situation that was brought up a while back on YouTube about claiming and accusing me of being a woman beater. Now, he's got a thing that he found in some private records where it says that I'm a stalker or something like that about 5 something years ago. Well, I was going to sit there and let it pass because I've already dealt with this a while back in my videos and everybody understood what I was talking about. But the guy has dug it back up, and a lot of my new subscribers, as well as people that I'm friends with nowadays that did not get to see the older video, I've been emailed repeatedly about the situation. So I figure obviously people are going to make a big deal out of this and they're not going to bother with the past video, so we're going to go ahead and explain this once again since people are acting ridiculous. After this is explained, if anybody emails me about it again or leaves some kind of fucking ignorant comment, then I realize that it's not important what the truth is, and the people just simply don't care, and they're just going to be insultive anyway, and I will simply block any trolls after this, over this situation. About 4 or 5 years ago, and this has been told many, many times in my videos, our daughter, Angelica, spent almost a year in a children's hospital. And the reason why is because she suffers from a condition called hydrocephalus. Me and Dawn are trying to fit into the webcam, but the webcam has a small image, so this is why we're sitting like this. My daughter sat in the children's hospital for a year, and it was very difficult on my wife and myself because one of us had to spend a lot of time at home to be with my son, which is Daniel, and my wife spent a lot of time up in the hospital, and every now and then I would come up and visit and everything like that, and the boy is a very, very hard situation. Well, for the first 5 or 6 months, we didn't know if our daughter was going to be able to survive all the surgeries. My daughter has had over 9 surgeries
Nine
done.
major,
Ma
7 minor.
yeah, major surgeries done on her skull because she suffers from hydrocephalus. Well, about at the end of the year, my wife, she got extremely upset because the doctors told her that our daughter would have to be monitored constantly and she would have to be connected to IV pumps and some other,
To help fight off infection and make sure there was no infection,
yeah.
especially at the sites of the surgeries.
Now I understand that my accusers won't understand this, and they won't understand the emotional trauma that parents go through when they're dealing with this kind of thing.
Mind you, she had this stuff from the moment she was born.
From the moment she was born. Well, what happened is that some people, some family members that don't normally hang out with us and all that, her stepmother, and she's got a father, um, don't normally visit with us, don't normally hang out with us, but because of the situation and the danger of the situation of our daughter and the possibility that we could lose her, the stepmother of Dawn started showing up at the hospital, and she's a nurse. Works in a completely different area, not this children's hospital called Cardinal Glennon. So what happened is that the stepmother has always been mean and nasty and terrible, total shit disturber. Now this woman started getting involved in Dawn's life again, and she promised Dawn, she said, Dawn, your daughter's in a really, really bad way and she's going to be needing to be monitored the whole 9 yards, and what we need to do, her plan was to take Dawn out to her own home way out on a fucking farm. Out on the farmland.
Basically out in the boondocks.
Yeah. So what happened was, is that Dawn made a deal with this woman that she would go out. So this lady, being an experienced nurse, could watch over our daughter and help. The problem is that the woman didn't really want me involved, even though I'm the father. I'm the father of Angelica and Daniel, and she didn't want me around. So what she did was she asked for Dawn to call me and tell me not to come around. And now Dawn didn't understand that whole situation, but Dawn had to make a choice. She either gets into a big explanation with me about the situation, or it's fucked up. It's a ridiculous situation, but the lady didn't want anybody else around. And Dawn told me that that was the case. This was the situation. And I was grieving and I was upset already because of my daughter, and I wanted to see her, and I wanted to help Dawn to be able to help our daughter get back healthy again, or at least try to do the best I can to stabilize her. Well, the woman, the situation kept getting worse with our daughter, so I was very emotional. I was a wreck because of what our daughter was going through, and I wanted to be a part of the situation as any good father would want to. Well, the lady told my wife to try to get some kind of restraining order to keep me away from her country home. Now, my wife did not want to do that. She didn't want to get into all that situation. But the stepmother went ahead and, sorry, we got somebody weed eating our grass. The stepmother went ahead and tried to get a restraining order against me to keep me away from her house, because she just wanted to keep Dawn and Angelica there so she could do the monitoring. She just wanted to deal with the nursing part of the situation. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Hold on, we got to close our windows because some idiot's doing weed eating. That's going to be extremely loud. Like I said, it's a retarded situation. The stepmother helped in getting a restraining order against me because she simply wanted to keep me away from her home up in the countryside. So I guess I'm going to let Dawn explain what the woman told her to do in order to get the restraining order. And a lot of you, it won't make sense to. Maybe some of you have had to deal with this kind of shit in your life. I don't know, but here you go.
Basically, she said, she said this to me, she says, I can't get a restraining order. I don't want him near my house. She just doesn't like...
You have to scoot up so they can hear you.
She likes what she wants to like. She's the kind that likes to stick her nose in sometimes where it doesn't belong. And it's very opinionated. So, she said, I can't get the restraining order, but you can. I said, well, I don't really want to get a restraining order. And through this time, I kept in contact with Brett. And she says, well, this is what you have to say. And basically, she said, you have to say that he beat you, he hit you, he does this, he does that. And then she said, and then we got to throw in that we don't want him near the house within so many yards or whatever. And so in order for her to help me, that's what I had to do. Now mind you, when I was at the hospital and monitoring our daughter, I had a whole bunch of nurses, because they work on shifts at the hospital helping me. At home, here at our house, I wouldn't have had that. It would have been Brett and I, and like you said, we had a son too. And so it would have been really difficult. That and keeping up, house cleaning and grocery shopping and school and whatever. Um, so when I went to her place, when I went to their place, basically my only duties were to help keep watch on our daughter, and then whenever I was relieved, she watched over her, making sure that there was no signs of infection, no swelling and fever and all that kind of stuff. Making sure that, because babies do like to move around, that's what they do. Making sure the IV points were, safe and secure. She had an IV in her chest, a central unit in her chest, and we had to feed her antibiotics through this IV system, flush it, and all that kind of good stuff. That was not fun. It's really hard watching your child get shots just for, what's it called? Um, when they get their childhood shots. It's hard enough seeing that happen to them.
Yeah.
But whenever you have to watch them with IVs actually stuck in their skin, I mean, she's got scars where these things were stuck in her skin because they had to put such they put the smallest that they could, but it had to be large enough to push the IV fluids and whatever other stuff through the IV. So that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. So that's the ordeal. There wasn't all this bullshit that this guy's trying to put out on his videos. So, you can believe whatever the hell you want. This is my wife and I's private matters. But obviously, since the guy made it public and everything and tried to make a big deal out of it, as you'll realize when you look at these public things, there's absolutely no information or description of why it is that these charges get put out or anything. They just simply say restraining order and the stalker situation and blah, blah, blah. But that's it. That's the situation, and this has been explained in the past, but...
And this will be the last time it will be explained. It'll be up to you people to decide, what you want to do with it.
Yeah. So, that's the deal. If you guys want to drag my children and my wife and myself through the mud and want to play a game on YouTube, and I know why this guy doesn't like me. He tried to get me to host his videos a while back, and I told him no. I said I'm not interested in hosting his material because he had some very anti-hate towards Christian bullshit, and that's not what I want on my channel. He also had emailed me in the past trying to get me to say fuck off to Firefly and Christopher L. and other Christians out there because I show respect and friendship towards Christians on this thing, and he's like some hateful fucking clown who's just trying to get some shit started. So, you have the information now. You got to dwell into our private life for a little while. And, I hope you're happy. This guy has been reported to YouTube. I've reported him a few times. I'm just waiting for YouTube to do something about him. This video will stay up, and people can make your comments. If you do any insultive, hateful shit, you will be removed. I don't care enough about YouTube to put up with that kind of bullshit.
And that includes going over to my own page or emailing me too.
Yeah. If Dawn feels like talking more about this stuff in the future on her video channel, she may. But I'm not going to deal with it. I have a lot more important things to deal with besides some fucking idiot trying to bring up 5-year-old situations in my life. So, her YouTube page is Tigress75, youtube.com/. Make sure you go over there and hang out with her.
I've got a few videos up.
Yeah, with Dawn, you're going to get to hear some good music, and she'll talk about gardening and cooking and woman stuff, and Dawn's a very exciting person, so...
You just got to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Because I don't just put it out there.
Yeah.
I got to be pushed into it.
Alright, this video's getting kind of long.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, then fuck it. Alright, thank you, folks. Sorry for those who had to hear all this bullshit that may have not woke up today to hear it. Goodbye.